This morning at chapel, we jumped into Colossians 1:15-20, and we did the service a little bit differently this week. We had a creative service, and so there's different elements. We had dramas, a skit, and we also had some testimonies and some scripture. And it was just awesome to see how we can enter into God's presence through different elements, not just music and not just sermon, but there's different creative elements that we can do that. And our goal this morning as a team was to create this picture of who Jesus Christ is, and we can't do that on our own. We can't do that very well by ourselves, but we called upon Christ and we asked him to come to this place and to give us a clear picture of who he is. And we've been into the prayer movement for the 24/7-hour prayer movement for 2 months now, and it's just awesome to see how God's been working and moving, and we're so excited for everything that's happening here on campus. We're just humbled this morning.
This morning in chapel, we talked about how God has authority over everything, and it was really encouraging to me personally because sometimes I get so caught up in how busy things are and I forget that God rules over everything, and that really helps me a lot in my daily life because I get scared over things, or I worry and I stress about the future or assignments, and it's really great knowing that God just has everything in his hands and that I don't need to worry about it. We also talked about prayer and how sometimes we go to prayer only when we need something, and that's not the way to pray. And it was nice to hear from other people's hearts and know what was on their minds and what they're dealing with in their lives so that I can relate to them and know that I'm not alone.
So in chapel lately, we've been talking about the image of God, or creating an image of Christ. And today, I was in a skit. I had the privilege of being in a skit where I was a character who was looking for a date for the banquet, yet was finding a lot of insecurities in themselves. And then Jesus comes over him and says, "You do not have to worry about this, for I am supreme." This is key because in my life, I lived a life like that a lot. And when it comes to painting the image of Christ, we had a small groups where we discussed, do we have a clear image of Christ? And I said I do, but I forget the image of Christ a lot. And in the sense of that, when I do face struggles in my life, I forget who God is. I forget that he is supreme over all, that he is gracious and loving and caring and is there for me. And I always forget that. And I always have to remind myself daily the image of God, who he is and what he is in my life.